Hello! Welcome to part 3 of my stitch along for the Gingerbread House. I have been a little delayed in getting back here to the lives because I was a little overwhelmed with orders that came in over Thanksgiving and right after Thanksgiving and trying to get everything out before the Christmas deadline. Also, my Christmas ornaments took off a little bit more than I thought they would. So I've been working on getting my Christmas ornament kits out, and you'll see some videos on those too. But today I'm going to get back to stitching on part of this. And so where I left off last was with the door, and so now we're going to work on some of this part. So I'm going to flip the camera around here and get started on some of that. Alrighty. Okay. I'm going to turn on an extra light here. Alright, so where we left off, I didn't even finish my door yet, but hopefully you got a chance to do that the last time. I'm going to take my brown color again, which is this really dark 3371. It's a super dark brown. And I'm going to snip that and take 3 strands here. And we're going to be starting on the windows. So 3 strands, separated my strands. And we're going to be using a chain stitch. A chain stitch for the window part. And real quick, I'm going to plug in my light because I think we need a little extra based on what I saw in previous videos. Oh geez. I thought my light was broken, but I just needed to press the right button. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of light here, see if that helps. And there we go. I like that one. Okay. So you're going to tie a knot in the end of this thread, and we're going to be doing a chain stitch. So I will raise this up a little bit. We're going to start on the window here. I'm going to start down in a corner. And we're going to bring our 3 strands up through. And you're going to place your needle right down where you came up and create a little loop. And then bring up your needle, just go forward a tiny bit on the line here. Bring your needle up through the hoop. So we've created this tiny stitch. And now to continue with the chain stitch, you're going to put your needle back in that loop, matching where you came up, and create another loop. Tighten that. On to the next. So each time you're placing your needle back down in that loop where you came up, create another loop, come up in the center, And you're going to continue that for your windows. Is everybody ready for Christmas? All right, and then this last one, I'm going to go down on the outside of the loop to secure it. Okay, so that's one side of my window. And because this is such a dark thread, it is tricky to see what kind of shape this makes. But it's a little chain stitch. Okay, so after we've secured that one on the outside, now we're going to come up in the center of our loop again, the last loop, and then down into the loop again. Now the reason we didn't continue this, the reason we secured the other one on the outside and didn't just continue on is because we want it to actually make a corner. And so by stopping one line, securing it, and then starting a new line, this will give us a sharper corner. Otherwise, it would be rounded. So you can try it if you would like. It's up to you. I think I can get two more here. So create that loop, come up in the loop, pull it tight, and now since this is the last one on this line, we're going to secure it on the outside. So tuck your needle in on the outside, pull it down, and that will secure that line. Okay, so we've got two lines of chain stitch, and that's what you're going to continue the whole way around this window. Okay, I am going to zoom out a little bit so you can see from further away. So we create the loop, come up inside the loop, insert your needle back down in the loop, create another loop. Come up in the center, back down in the loop. And I just liked that this gave kind of a textured window frame. A little green to the wooden window. Maybe it's not wooden if this is a gingerbread house. Thank you. Okay, and so you're continuing that chain stitch the whole way around for your window, and then you're actually going to do the same thing for up here on this window and this window here. So this one, as long as you keep your stitches nice and short, you're going to go the whole way around the window, and it will curve nicely with the chain stitch. Some stitches are hard to get even around a circle, but the chain stitch works pretty nicely for this. And then we're also doing the scalloped edge here with the chain stitch. So I'm going to pause here because I think you've got the idea with the windows. And you're just going to continue that chain stitch around. And I'm going to skip up to the scalloped edge at the top. So the windows are all going to be about the same, just the outside you're doing this chain stitch. And then our scalloped edges, we're going to start right here inside this right here and start our chain stitch again. So just follow your pen lines that you made previously. If you need to go over them again, do so. Sometimes they will fade if you've been working on this and kind of brushing against the fabric some and touching it. Sometimes those lines will fade and you need to go over them again. Make sure when you're making these loops not to get your loops twisted. Or it will affect the series of loops and what they look like. Trying to do this fairly quickly so you can see what it looks like when we get up to the scallop. And then just like the previous ones on the windows, I'm going to stop here, secure it on the outside, and then when I start again, I'm going to go back to that previous hole. Just because we want there to be kind of like a nice, it's not really a corner, I guess, but it adds definition to our shape. If we have that end stitch. And when you watch this replay, you can, fast forward if you need to where you need to get to, stop and pause on this chain stitch. Secure on the outside again. And so each loop that you make, you're going to secure the last stitch on the outside of the loop instead of going back down in the loop. And that will give us these nice little points right here. Okay? I gotta make it up at least to this next point for you. Sometimes it is difficult to see around the camera. Okay. I'm going to secure this one at the point. So we have nice little loops there. Okay. And I'm going to tie this off. And you can feel free to finish those parts. But I'm going to show you the inside of the window then. All right, now I'm going to take two strands only. This is kind of like how we did the doors. And we're going to be doing a back stitch for the windows, the inside of the windows. So I'm coming down here. Skip a stitch length. Insert your needle back down where you ended your previous stitch. Okay, so you always skip a stitch length and then go back down in the end of the previous stitch. So the framing of our windows, or the inside of the windows, is going to be thinner than the outside because we used 3 strands for our chain stitch. And then same here, we're going to start where I do 2 stitches to get to the middle. Skip a stitch length and then back down in that previous stitch end. This is just the basic back stitch. I'm going to come up at the edge of my chain stitch. Okay, so you're just going to frame your windows like this with a back stitch and 2 strands. Same for here and here. So we've got the chain stitch and then the back stitch for the centers. Okay. Now I know that this one, I wasn't timing myself. I know that this one wasn't as long today, but I am going to pause there. I will try to get my windows done and my door, and then we're going to work on the stars and the stars out here and adding our bells to the roof. So I'll upload this one separately, and then I'll have a second one. I'm going to try to come back either Thursday or Friday to do the last part.